There's a strange truth about respect that almost no one figures out until it's too late. You don't get it by asking for it. You don't get it by defending yourself. And you definitely don't get it by trying to make everyone happy. In fact, the more you chase respect, the further it runs away. Most people think respect is a reward for being nice, agreeable, and accommodating. But that's the fastest way to make people take you for granted. The real path is the exact opposite. It's sharper, it's quieter. It takes more courage than raising your voice or proving your point. This is the path Machiavelli understood centuries ago. A single rule that flips the power in your favor without you having to beg, fight, or explain. Most will never use it because it feels unnatural at first. But once you master it, people will treat you differently, instantly. They won't even be able to explain why. And it starts with one choice. Stop trying to earn respect and make them feel it instead. Think about the last time someone disrespected you. It might have been subtle, the kind of moment where no one else in the room noticed, but you felt it deep in your chest. Maybe they cut you off mid-sentence, like your words didn't matter. Maybe they smirked or laughed at your idea in front of others, trying to make you look small. Or maybe they ignored you completely, like you weren't even worth the space you took up. It's not always loud. Disrespect can be quiet. It's the raised eyebrow, the dismissive shrug, the accidental delay in responding to your message. These small acts eat at you because they're not about what was said, they're about what was implied. You're not important. And when it happens, your instincts kick in. You want to set the record straight. You want to explain yourself, defend your position, maybe even hit back with a sharp remark. But here's the trap. The second you start explaining, you're already playing their game. You've shifted the conversation from your value to their judgment of your value. And whether you realize it or not, you've just told them that their opinion matters more than your reality. That's why people who react emotionally to disrespect rarely come out on top. Even if they win the argument, they've already lost the bigger battle, the perception of power. Because respect isn't just about what's true, it's about what people see to be true. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. He knew that in politics, in business, in life, perception is reality. If people see you as desperate to be understood, you've already lowered yourself beneath them. And once you give up that position, it's almost impossible to climb back without making it look like you're overcompensating. So the real danger of disrespect isn't the act itself, it's the reaction it provokes. And that's why the smartest move isn't to argue, explain, or demand an apology. It's to shift the power quietly, without a single word. Because when you stop fighting to be understood, something strange happens. You stop chasing their validation, and they start chasing yours. That's the foundation of Machiavelli's rule, a principle that flips the script and forces people to respect you, even if they don't like you. And it starts with a choice most people are too scared to make. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The more you explain yourself, the weaker you look. It doesn't matter how logical your argument is, how justified your actions are, or how unfair the other person has been. The moment you start defending yourself, you're already signaling that you need their approval. Think about it. When someone questions you and you rush to give a long explanation, what message are you really sending? You're saying, wait, don't misunderstand me. Please see it from my side. That's not the language of someone in control. That's the language of someone asking for permission to exist on their terms. Machiavelli would have called this a loss of position. In his world, power wasn't just about who had the armies or the money. It was about who looked like they were in control. If you had to prove your worth, you'd already lost half of it. And the same rule applies today. People instinctively respect those who act as if they don't need to be understood. Why? Because it signals self-sufficiency. It says, I know who I am, I know what I'm doing, and I don't need you to agree. That confidence is magnetic. It makes people lean in instead of pull away. On the other hand, over-explaining does the opposite. It opens the door for others to poke holes in your reasoning. It invites debate where there didn't need to be one. And worst of all, it hands control of the conversation over to the other person. Because now, they get to decide whether your explanation is good enough. This is why Machiavelli advised leaders to keep their reasoning hidden. If you must act, act decisively. If you must speak, speak briefly. But never get caught in the trap of endless justification. Think of the most powerful figures in history, or even in your own life. Do they explain themselves at every challenge? Do they chase after every critic trying to set the record straight? No, they make a move, and they let the results speak for them. That's not arrogance, it's strategy. When you resist the urge to explain, you're not being passive. You're taking a deliberate stance. You're saying, I will not let you frame the terms of this discussion. I decide what gets my energy. And that's the first real shift in power. Because once people realize they can't pull you into endless explanations, they stop trying, and they start respecting the boundaries you've silently set. Here's where we get to the heart of it. Machiavelli's rule in its purest form. Never explain, never justify, only act. At first glance, that might sound cold or even arrogant. But in reality, it's the most efficient way to command respect without wasting energy. When you explain, you hand over your power. When you justify, you're playing on someone else's field. When you act, you stay in control. Imagine someone crosses you. Maybe they belittle you in a meeting or try to undermine your authority in front of others. The average person would confront them verbally. That's not fair, or you're misunderstanding me. But here's the problem. The moment you start talking, you're already reacting on their timeline. You've let them dictate the pace, the tone, and even the emotional temperature of the exchange. Machiavelli's approach is the opposite. You don't tell them they crossed a line. You show them by quietly changing how you deal with them from that moment on. You cut access, you remove privileges, you shift opportunities away from them. You don't make an announcement about it because silence forces them to notice the change on their own. And when they do, the realization hits harder than any speech ever could. The same applies when someone doubts you. Instead of wasting breath convincing them, you simply produce results so undeniable that they have no choice but to acknowledge you. You let your actions close the argument before it ever starts. Why is this so effective? Because humans are far more impacted by experience than by explanation. You can tell someone 1,000 times that you're capable, or you can just show them once, and the impression lasts forever. This rule isn't about being petty or vindictive. It's about conserving your most valuable resource: attention. Every moment you spend explaining yourself is a moment you're not moving forward. Every ounce of energy you give to justification is energy you've stolen from action. And here's the secret. When you stop feeding people explanations, they start working harder to understand you. They lean in, they observe more closely, they become more careful in how they deal with you. That's the beginning of respect. When people start measuring themselves before they cross you. So, the next time you feel the urge to defend yourself, remember Machiavelli's rule. Close your mouth, make your move, and let them figure out the rest. Because in the long run, mystery will always command more respect than explanation. Think about the last time someone truly impressed you. Was it because they gave you a long speech about their abilities? Or was it because they did something undeniable, something you couldn't ignore? That's the essence of show, don't tell. When it comes to respect, words are fragile. They can be twisted, doubted, or forgotten. But actions carve themselves into people's memory. Machiavelli understood that explaining yourself makes you look desperate for approval. And desperation is the enemy of respect. When you're busy telling someone why they should value you, you're already signaling that their validation is more important than your own reality. Instead, the powerful move is to let your results be the proof. Let's say someone questions your capability at work. Instead of jumping in with, "I can handle this, I've done it before," you keep calm, you execute, you deliver something so polished and complete that it silences every doubt in the room. Now, you haven't just told them you're capable, you've made it impossible for them to deny it. Here's the thing, when you act without explaining, you create an experience for the other person, and experiences are much harder to dismiss than arguments. If someone feels your competence, they carry that impression far longer than if they just hear you talk about it. This is also why leaders rarely announce every decision they make. When you tell people your plans ahead of time, you invite opinions, resistance, and interference. When you simply act, you bypass the debate entirely. People are forced to respond to what already is, not what might be. Silence, paired with decisive action, has a magnetic quality. It creates curiosity. People wonder, what are they thinking? What's their next move? That uncertainty makes others more careful around you because they can't predict you. And unpredictability is a form of power. It's not about never speaking. It's about knowing when to speak. If your words can push things forward, use them. But if they'll only be used to defend your value, hold them back and let your results do the talking. The truth is, the most respected people don't spend their time proving themselves. They spend their time building, moving, and executing. By the time anyone realizes what they've done, it's already too late to question them. So next time someone doubts you, don't argue. Work quietly, deliver loudly. Because in a world full of noise, action is the rarest and most powerful language. We live in a world where everyone is talking. They're posting, tweeting, explaining, debating, filling every silence with words. But here's the truth. The more common something is, the less value it has. And right now, words are everywhere, which makes them cheap. Silence, on the other hand, is rare. It's uncomfortable. It forces people to fill in the blanks with their own imagination. And that's where the power is. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He knew that withholding your words, especially in moments when people expect you to react, creates a shift in the dynamic. When everyone else is shouting, the one who stays calm instantly stands out. It's like a crowded room where every light is on, and then someone turns theirs off. Suddenly, everyone notices the darkness. Think about it. If someone insults you in public and you instantly snap back, they've pulled you into their game. They've dictated the terms. But if you simply pause, look at them, and say nothing, now they're in unfamiliar territory. Your silence creates tension, and tension makes people reconsider their actions. Silence also signals self-control. It shows that you're not easily provoked, not desperate to explain yourself, and not interested in convincing anyone who's already decided to doubt you. This is why truly powerful people can sit through criticism without flinching, because they know their value isn't determined by the room's opinion. And here's the paradox. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. If you're always explaining and defending, people get used to tuning you out. But if you speak only when necessary, people listen carefully because they know it matters. The scarcity principle applies here too. The less available something is, the more people value it. Make your attention, your words, and your presence a luxury, not a free sample. Now, this doesn't mean you should be cold or distant all the time. It means you should choose your moments. When the situation calls for action, act. When it calls for a statement, make it short and sharp. But when it's just noise meant to pull you into a pointless back and forth, let it pass in silence. Because here's the thing. Every time you react, you spend emotional energy. And energy is a currency far more valuable than words. If you waste it on the wrong people, you'll have less to invest in the things that actually build your power. So remember, words are cheap. Silence is expensive. Use silence like gold. Spend it wisely, and watch how quickly people start treating it, and you, with respect. If there's one law that governs human behavior more than almost any other, it's this. We value what we can't easily have. It's the same reason diamonds are expensive. It's not because they're magically better than every other stone. It's because they're rare. Scarcity creates desire. Desire creates value. and value creates respect. Machiavelli didn't talk about marketing, but he understood the psychology behind it. The same principle applies to people. If you are always available, always ready to explain yourself, always saying yes to every request, people stop seeing you as valuable. You're not rare anymore. You're common. And what's common is often taken for granted. Think about someone in your life who never answers the phone right away. You might get frustrated, but deep down, you respect their boundaries. They don't drop everything just because you called. Their time is their own, and they make you wait for it. Now think about the opposite. Someone who answers instantly every time, who's always free, who never says no. You may like them, but you don't see them as powerful. In fact, you might unconsciously start treating their time, attention, and energy as something you're entitled to. This is where scarcity comes in. When you stop explaining every move, when you're not available for every little thing, when you don't rush to correct every misunderstanding, you become scarce. And the moment you become scarce, your value rises. The scarcity principle works because it flips the dynamic. Instead of you chasing respect, others start chasing you. They start wondering what you're doing, where your attention is going, and why they don't have it anymore. That curiosity builds mystery. And mystery is one of the most magnetic forces in human relationships. Look at the leaders you admire. Do they broadcast their every thought? Do they give constant access to everyone who wants a piece of them? No, they're selective. They know their time and presence are assets, and they protect those assets like a fortress. This doesn't mean you play hard to get just for the sake of it. Machiavelli would tell you that scarcity only works if it's backed by substance. You can't withdraw from people if you have nothing to offer in the first place. That just makes you irrelevant. But if you're competent, skilled, and confident, scarcity multiplies your perceived value almost instantly. So the next time someone demands your time or challenges you to explain yourself, pause and ask, "Is this really worth my attention?" If the answer is no, keep that attention to yourself. Let them feel the absence. Because when you're not easily available, every moment you do give becomes more powerful and more respected. Let's go back to Renaissance Italy, a place where politics was as dangerous as the battlefield, and words could be just as deadly as swords. Niccolò Machiavelli was still a young political advisor then. He didn't have the fame or influence he would later gain, but he was already sharp, observant, and fearless when it came to reading people. One day, during a high-stakes council meeting, a powerful nobleman decided to humiliate him. The man laughed loudly at Machiavelli's idea, right in front of other influential figures. It was a public rejection, the kind of insult that could destroy a young advisor's credibility. Everyone in the room expected Machiavelli to fight back, to defend himself, to argue why his idea had merit. But he didn't. Instead, Machiavelli simply paused, looked at the nobleman, not angrily, not nervously, just long enough to let the silence sting, and then calmly moved on to the next point in the discussion. No defense, no debate, no wasted energy. In that moment, he sent a message that words could never carry. Your opinion is too small to shake me. Weeks later, that same nobleman found himself in trouble. A political conflict had escalated, and he needed strategic advice fast. Out of all the people he could turn to, guess who he approached? Machiavelli. And this time, the power dynamic had flipped. Machiavelli set the terms. He named the price. He controlled the entire conversation. The nobleman had no choice but to comply. What happened here wasn't luck. It was the deliberate use of silence as a weapon. Machiavelli understood that if he had argued back in that council meeting, he would have been operating from a defensive position. By staying silent, he refused to give his attacker the satisfaction of seeing him rattled. He also planted a seed of doubt. Why didn't he respond? Did he know something I didn't? That's the thing about silence. It creates a vacuum, and humans hate vacuums. We rush to fill them with our own thoughts, our own assumptions. When you stay silent after someone tries to disrespect you, you make them do the mental work. You force them to wonder, to question, to rethink. Machiavelli didn't just avoid a pointless argument. He built leverage. And when the time was right, he used it. It's a reminder that you don't have to fight every battle the second it begins. Sometimes, the most powerful move is no move at all. At least, not yet. Because silence isn't weakness. It's a waiting game. And in the right hands, it's one of the most dangerous strategies you can play. Now that you understand the principle, let's talk about how to actually use it in your own life. Not just in theory, but in those real, messy, everyday situations where respect is tested. The first step is simple but not easy. Stop explaining yourself. When someone challenges you or questions your worth, your instinct will scream at you to defend, justify, or over-explain. But here's the reality. The more you talk, the more you give them material to tear apart. You're essentially giving your critic free ammunition. The people who command the most respect don't scramble to prove themselves. They stand firm, speak when they choose, and leave the rest unsaid. Second, use pauses like a weapon. If someone says something disrespectful, don't rush to respond. Let the silence hang. A few seconds might feel like forever in the heat of the moment, but that's the point. It creates discomfort, and that discomfort shifts the power back to you. People start to wonder what you're thinking, whether you're planning something or if they've crossed a line they shouldn't have. Third, act without announcement. If you decide to change how you treat someone, don't broadcast it. Don't post about it. Don't warn them. Don't explain why. Just do it. When people suddenly feel less access to you, when your tone changes, when you stop chasing them, they feel it. And when they feel it without a verbal warning, it hits harder. Fourth, withhold access. Your time, your energy, your presence. These are valuable resources. If someone treats you with disrespect, they shouldn't get unlimited access to them. Reduce contact, limit your responses, make it clear, without a single word, that they no longer get the same version of you they once did. Fifth, reward respect. Ignore disrespect. This is one of the simplest yet most effective applications. When someone treats you well, respond with warmth, attention, and generosity. When they don't, give them nothing, not even a reaction. Remember, attention is a currency, and you choose where to spend it. These steps aren't about playing games or being manipulative. They're about reclaiming control over your emotional energy and signaling your value without needing to argue for it. The people who truly deserve to be in your life will respect these boundaries. The ones who don't won't last long. And here's the beauty. Once you start living this way, you'll notice a shift. People will speak to you more carefully. They'll think twice before dismissing your ideas. They'll respect your time more, simply because they understand it's not freely given. Respect, in the end, isn't something you beg for. It's something you train people to give you by showing them, through your silence, your boundaries, and your actions, that it's the only way they get to stay in your world. If there's one thing you take away from Machiavelli's rule, let it be this. Respect is never truly given. It's earned through how you carry yourself. You can't demand it. You can't beg for it. You can't talk someone into respecting you. In fact, the louder you demand it, the more you prove you don't have it. The people who command the deepest respect in any room are rarely the loudest voices. They're the ones who seem untouchable, unshaken, and perfectly in control of themselves. Control is the real currency here. Not control over others, but control over your reactions, your words, and your energy. Machiavelli understood that the person who reacts the least holds the most power. Because the second you lose your cool, the second you start chasing someone's approval, you've handed them the keys to your self-worth. So here's the mindset shift. You are not here to convince people of your value. You are here to live in such a way that your value is obvious, to the right people, without you having to say a word. When someone disrespects you, it's not always a cue to fight back. Sometimes it's a test to see whether you'll play their game or force them to play yours. If you meet disrespect with silence, boundaries, and decisive action, you send a far more powerful message than any comeback could. This doesn't mean you should be cold to everyone. In fact, it's the opposite. You should be warm and generous to those who treat you well. Your kindness will mean more because it's not given cheaply. People will know it's something they have to earn, and that it can be lost if they cross the line. The truth is, you will lose some people when you start living by this rule. Some won't like that you're harder to read, harder to access, harder to push around. And that's okay. The people who leave when you set boundaries are the very people who only valued you when you were easy to take advantage of. But the people who remain, and the new ones who enter your life, will treat you differently. They'll weigh their words more carefully. They'll respect your time more. They'll think twice before trying to test you. And one day, you'll notice something. You're no longer in rooms where you have to ask for respect. You're in rooms where it's given to you automatically because you've trained the world to treat you that way. Machiavelli's rule is not about arrogance. It's about building a quiet, unshakable strength that speaks louder than any argument. So the next time someone crosses you, don't explain, don't justify, smile, say nothing, and let your silence do the talking. Because in that moment, you've already won.